He's so cute. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. Yes, it is that day of the week where we shake things up a little bit. We do things out of the norm. We try new things. We just make it a different day to every other day of the week, and that is perfectly fine. Yes, one of my favorite days of the week. I only have 7 favorite days. But anyway, so how did you shake up your Saturday? What did you do that was different from your normal Saturday routines? What did you do? Did you get to try something new? Did you learn something new today? Did you go a different route to get groceries or to a friend's place or a family member's place? What did you do differently today that you did not, that you don't normally do on a Saturday? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to shake up your Saturday next Saturday, come join us at Networking Riches on June 4th and 5th, because that will definitely shake up your day. It will shake up your entire weekend. If you'd love to go networking, it's a great place to go networking. If you want to improve your networking skills, a great way to do that. If you want to find a different way to network at live events, even ones on Zoom, then that's where you need to be. It's as simple as that. Just go to the link below, which is havetonetwork.com, and you can register for free as my guest. Yes, that's my special link that'll get you free to get you in the door for free. So, how was my day shaken up? I got up at the normal time, bummed around for a bit, took my time getting my morning stuff done. We went for a walk around 8 o'clock. I finished this book. The last thing he told me, I finished this book. And this was the one that I was doing for the book club. And I thought I had to be done by 10 o'clock. It turns out it was 10:30 was the meeting, when the meeting started, and it goes for a couple of hours. And so my first thing is that, well, one, I finished the book, which is awesome. It was a pretty good book. I enjoyed it. It was not as much of a mystery as I thought it would be. But it had a mystery in there. It just didn't seem to be prominent, which was kind of interesting. And but it was a good read. It was a very good read. And like I said, I finished it this morning. I finished it less than an hour before we got together. I actually thought I finished it like about 10 minutes before the meeting started. It turned out to be about 40 minutes. And because I thought we were starting at 10 and we were starting at 10:30. So I got to meet 8 new people today. Got to meet 8 new people that all live in the local area, in the valley that I'm in. So they're all within a 20-minute drive of me, I think it is. Yeah, I think they're all within about a 20-minute drive of me. So got to meet them. We had a great discussion on this book. And that was the first hour. And then the second hour, we were talking about suggested books for upcoming book clubs. Meetings and things, and decided on and the next one is going to be in June. They do this once a month, fourth Saturday of the month, and in June we're doing an Ellery Queen book. Oh my gosh, I haven't read Ellery Queen in, I can't remember the last time I read an Ellery Queen book. So I'm looking forward to reading the book that we're going to be reading for June, because I love those. I will read just about anything. Just about anything. I will not read horror. I will not read sci-fi. I will read the occasional fantasy, but any other genre like mysteries, chick flick, chick lit, um, westerns, action, thrillers, suspense. I mentioned mysteries. I'm trying to think of all the other genres that are out there. I will read just about anything. And we came up with a really good list of books. And I think they're setting up the next 6 months is what they're going to set up. But there was like, hang on, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There was like 15 ideas that we came up with for what we want to read over the next 6 months. But we're going to read one book a month. But yeah, there was like 15 different books recommended. So I thought, whether we do them or not, I'm going to go through and read them anyway, because when you recommended a book, you said why you're recommending that book, if you know anything about it, what it's about, and that sort of stuff. And so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which ones get chosen out of that list for us to go and. Oh, one of them was actually. There were 16 books recommended, because one of them she just turned around and says, I just think it's a really good read that you may want to go read. I'm not recommending it for a recommended read. She says, I want to read new stuff. So she didn't want to read anything she'd read before, whereas I'm sort of like, I want to do The Millionaires again by Brad Meltzer, because that book I have read many times over the years. It's been at least, the last time I read it, Brad was still alive. So, and he's been gone 4.5 years now, so almost 5 years. So it's been at least probably 6 years since I last read that book. And I'm still convinced that there is possibly a movie out there that's the same as this book. It's just not called the same thing. And I'm sort of like, because when I'm reading this book, the images are so clear in my head, it's like I'm watching a movie. So, and I've read this book many, many times, and every time I get to the point where it's sort of like, I know it's time to read it again, when I start getting the images in my head again, and I can't remember which order the images are supposed to be for different scenes, and I can never quite see the actors' faces. Although there was one, what movie was I watching? I was watching one movie, and one of the guys that were in the movie, I thought, I've seen him before. And I can't for the life remember which movie he was in, but I started getting these flashes from these scenes from this book in my head, and I thought, was he in that movie? So I went and found out who the actor was, went to his bio, nothing in his filmography was anything close to what this book was. And so I was like, damn it, now I'm putting people's faces on things that may not even exist. But it would make a really good movie. It really would, if it's not already out there. So yes, that was the one that I read, that I put forward, that I would like to do that again. And I said, I just go back, and I said, I very rarely give books away. I never throw books out. I will give them away. I will donate them. And I said, that was part of the reason Brad bought me a Kindle, was because I read so much, and it was much easier for me to read. It was easy. It was cheaper. It was cheaper for us to buy the Kindle version than it was the paperback version, and it meant that we weren't taking up shelf space. So I'm glad I have my Kindle, because there's a lot of books on there, and of course none of them have been deleted. And every now and again I get this scene stuck in my head. It's like, oh yeah, there was that book that was about the hat, and I start going through it, and I'm like, yeah, no, and then I've got to try and remember, and then I'm spending a couple of days trying to remember the name of the book, and then I finally find the name of the book, and then that's my next read. It's the next one, and I'll either start it then or wait till I finish one of my other books, because I always have 5 to 6 books on a go at any one time. And so I'll wait till I get one of the other ones done to put that in, or it may go straight into I may start reading it right there and then. And then when I'm finally read it, it's like, yes, now I remember it. As I start reading it, some things start coming back, and then it's sort of like, and some things, even on the mysteries and the suspense and the thriller ones that I've already read, I still get surprised in some of them. It's like, hang on, I thought that happened later in the book. Oh yeah, I remember that. That happened later. I thought that happened later. It happened. It's already in the book. Wow. Or and I'm like going through it. Where is the scene that I'm looking for? And it's further on in the book than I thought it was, because I thought it was near the beginning of the book. So it helps me reorganize the things. Oh my gosh. No, she's just taking a toy to play with on the floor. So we enjoyed this book. Had a great discussion about it. Came up with 15 new recommended reads for the book club. So we know what the next month is going to be. It's going to be an Ellery Queen book. And then they'll give us the list of what the other ones are going to be in the following month. So that's kind of cool that they ask for recommendations and all that sort of stuff. And they have another book club, which is a very interesting take on things, is that if it's a book that there has been a movie made about it, they read the book and watch the movie, and how closely does the book and the movie line up, or where were there major differences and that sort of thing. And when they were talking about something like that today, so they're talking about, because we were talking about this book. This book is actually becoming a movie. They're making a movie out of this with Jennifer Garner playing the main character that's in this book. And we're talking about how they may change the ending of it and all of that sort of stuff. And I said that quite often. And somebody said, well, do they change the endings of, if they turn a book into a movie, do they change things? I went, yeah. And they all looked at me, and they looked at me as I say, what? And I'm thinking, well, I said, perfect example for me is the one that I remember, the biggest one I remember the most is The Firm by John Grisham. I said, because those two, the movie and the film, parallel to a certain point, then they just take off in different directions, different endings. And I said, the book was okay. The movie was a lot better than the book. And I preferred the ending in the book. I preferred where they branched off and went in a completely different direction to the book and put a different ending on it. I said, I much preferred that ending than what was in the book, because the book, it was almost like you didn't know how to end it, and it just ended. And you were left with questions, whereas in the movie, they ended it a completely different way, and you knew what was going on and everything. So, and I was like, oh, yeah. So they agreed with that one. That was okay. And then after that, it was, we got ready because my friend is getting ready to leave the campground, and he had to move his vehicle. And so he'd asked me yesterday if I would follow him up the road. It's about an hour, just over an hour up the road. And while he parks his vehicle up there, and then bring him back. And then when he next goes up, and he's actually going up to a friend's place where he's going to be parking his RV for a while. And so I said, yeah. So let him know that. So we got Zephy and I all ready and packed up, and off we went. We followed him all the way up there, and it was actually a pretty good drive. And Zephy, I just want to say Brad and I. Zephy and I had done a certain portion of that drive, and of that drive that we did today, and then at a certain area we turned off and went a different way. And it was one of the trips when we were actually going to the dog park, and we missed the turnoff because the turnoff off this road was a left exit, not a right exit. And I'm over on the right, and I'm sort of like, oh, there's 4 lanes of traffic. I've got to get across to get to that, that turn lane's that 4th lane over there. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to make that. I thought I'll just turn it another one, and not realizing that this road went this way and this one went this way. I was like, as we're driving, I'm like, I don't recognize anything yet. No. We have taken a wrong turn. But it was it's Sunday. We do mystery drives on Sunday. So we continue following this road. And then we found an intersection coming up where it takes you to the 74 and the 17. And I thought, oh, that'll be a really good loop. We can, get onto the 17 and we can come back down and then cut across. And yeah, that'll be fine. And we get on this road, and it was a very pretty drive. The drivers are a little crazy. I just minded my own business, and cars went around me if they needed to. If people were overtaking me, I would purposely slow down so that they had more of a chance to get in, because some of them were overtaking in places where I was like, I don't think I would do that. So I wanted to make sure they had enough room to get in if they needed to quickly cut back in. So I would always slow off and let them do that. And Zephy's kicking up a storm in the back because we're not at the dog park at that point. And we come across Lake Pleasant Parkway, and I'm like, oh, the dog park's off Lake Pleasant Parkway. So we turn onto Lake Pleasant Parkway, and we're driving for ages. And then we see the sign that said like Lake Pleasant 20 miles or something like that. It was like either 10 or 20 miles. And I'm like, oh. And so we actually went past the entrance to Lake Pleasant and kept going, because I thought, well, the 303 can't be that far away. And kept following this thing, and finally got to the 3, and a few miles later finally came across the 303, and then just the other side of that was the entrance to the park where the dog park is. And we get to the dog park, and I thought, wow, I didn't realize that that Lake Pleasant was that far out. I hadn't looked at it on a map or anything, and I didn't realize the parkway was that long. I didn't realize that they were that far away from the 303 or from the 60, and I was just like, wow, that was a real adventure. And so we went past the intersection that we'd gone past that time. We ended up driving through Wickenburg, and we went to, where did we go? Congress. And got up there, got to his mate's place, parked the Hummer, and got back in and drove all the way back. So it was a good outing. And we got back and I took Zephy for a very quick short walk, because usually after we've been for a long car ride, she needs to do her thing. So we went and did that for her. It was like 101 degrees outside, or 105 or somewhere around there. It's now down to 96, 94 was the last I asked. And so we're getting ready for our night walk. But when we got back from that drive, I got everything set up. I'm just going to, we've had a busy morning and we've had a busy afternoon. I'm just going to kick back and relax, because we were gone for, we left just after 1, got back around just after 3:30. So we were gone for 2.5 hours. And by the time we drove up there, he parked his car and we drove back again. And he's here in the resort, so it was a real quick, easy drop off. So yeah, I was sort of like, I'm just going to sit down and watch a movie. So I got my water bottle set up. I got the phone set up over there, and made sure. And Zeffy by that stage had actually eaten for the first time since Thursday night, because the last she had eaten was Thursday night or very, very early Friday morning, that overnight period when she eats in the middle of the night. So she hadn't had anything to eat till then. The food had been out. She'd been doing fine with the water, so I put half a cup of food out for her, and she didn't touch it last night at all. Didn't touch it this morning, and when we came back from the drive, she went over and she ate it. And so I thought, okay, we'll keep an eye on her. So I didn't put any more food in her bowl. I just put food in her bowl just before I got online here. So she's doing okay. So I thought she must have been really hungry because, but then one of the side effects from one of the vaccinations she gets is that it makes them a little lethargic. So I thought, okay, so she's had the anesthesia on top of that, plus this thing that makes her a little lethargic. And when she's lethargic, she just doesn't want to eat or really drink. But she has been drinking a bit of water, so that's been good. And she drank some water while we were in the car as well, so that was good. That was the first thing she checked out when she got in the car today, see if her water bowl was there. Yeah, we didn't want that commentary. But yeah, so it was a good drive, and she was pretty good for most of it. Had her bits to say while we were having conversations. She put her little 2 cents worth in. And so I went to sit down and I was going, okay, I'll go watch. Trying to figure out which movie to watch. And I went to sit down and I thought, all of a sudden I had this wave of tiredness come over me. And I was like, I'm just going to go lay down for a bit. And Zevy was in her crate. And I was like, come on, let's go lay down for a bit. So I went and got in the bed and read for a little bit and then slept for about an hour and a half. Yeah, so here we are. We're about to go out for an evening stroll. And thankfully the sun is now down past the rooftops. So we're going to be walking in the shade, which will make it a lot cooler, a lot nicer, a lot more pleasant. And then we'll come back and figure out. Lunch was a really yummy protein shake. I had cucumber in there. I had protein powder in there. I had a chocolate something or other. And what did I have in there that was chocolate? Oh, I can't remember. But I know it has stuff that helps keep you awake, not caffeine. And then I put the frozen berries in there with coconut water, and that was my lunch. So gotta figure out what we're gonna do for dinner tonight. Maybe I'll just do another protein shake. Who knows? I don't know. But we're not going anywhere. We're not getting anything delivered. So it'll be whatever we can scrounge up here. Actually, we need to make the grocery order for tomorrow or something. So anyway, that's been our Shake It Up day. It's been awesome. It has been a really, really cool day. And I'm still in the doghouse a little bit, but at least she's coming up to me for scratches now, and she allowed me to have our morning cuddles. So, yeah, she's coming around. I'm getting out of the doghouse. Anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And tomorrow is Serenity Sunday. It's the day of... And I do have laundry on my list to do for tomorrow. So I'll get that organized tonight. I've got the trash organized to do all the recycling. So at some point I've got to go for a drive over to the trash can because I've got the recycling stuff to take over there along with the general trash bag. So one of those things where it's close, but it's not close enough. I still have to use, that would be where a golf cart would be really handy. Actually, no, it wouldn't. It might be. But I don't need a golf cart. No. Sometimes I feel like I should. But I've got to figure out what's going on because they haven't sent me the bill for my next year yet. Even though I've told them I'm going to be here for another year, I have not yet seen my bill because you pay in a year in advance, and I haven't seen my bill, and my rental on this site is up on June 1st. So I have to basically vacate the site on June 1st, and I've already told them I'm staying longer, but I haven't seen my bill yet. So I'm going to go check my mailbox tomorrow that's here on the campground to see if it's there. Otherwise, Tuesday morning, I'm going to have to go over there when they're open and go, hey, guys, what's the story? I told you guys I was staying, and I have seen nothing about my annual rental due. So what's going on? And some other people have already got their notice and everything that it's supposed to leave on June 1st. Have got their notice and everything, and I told them I was staying, and I've seen nothing. Maybe I'm getting a year for free. Who knows? Anyway, I'm out of here. I got a puppy that would like to go for a WA. See, puppy. He came up and looked at me. I said, yes, I'm talking about you. She's just found a cool spot. She's now laying on the vinyl, stretched out. Like, I'll just stay here. Anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow for Serenity Sunday. And just remember, Serenity Sunday is all about rest and relaxation and recharging and getting ready for the week ahead, and however way you relax. I realize some people have to be extremely active in order to relax, and other people, like me, we just kick back, relax, put our feet up, and do next to nothing. Or as little as possible in order to relax. But I gotta do laundry tomorrow, so that will be my rest. No one. Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, konara.